Okay. This morning, our lectures is going to be on ecology, and from what we have here, we can confidently say that when you look at living organisms from bacteria to the blue whale, you realize that there's always an interaction between these organisms within the environment, from the smallest organism to the biggest organism. There is always some form of interaction between these organisms and their environment. Now, when we decide to study the organisms and their interrelationships with the environment, then we are studying what we call ecology. So basically, ecology is the study of organisms and their interrelationships with their environment. And the interrelationship between the organisms and their environment is what makes the how do I call it? Is what constitutes the study of ecology. So the organisms becomes the biotic component, and the inorganic component becomes the abiotic component. And this biotic and abiotic component determines the distribution and abundance of organisms. The study of interactions among organisms and their environment forms part of the ecological studies. Now, you can study ecology at different levels, from protein and nucleic acids, that is within the molecular biology, from cells, that is in cell biology, organisms, that's botany, zoology, and other similar disciplines, and finally at the level of population, communities, and ecosystem. So we can study ecology at the protein level, at the nucleic acids, cells, organisms, that is botany, zoology, and finally population, communities, and ecosystem. Because of its focus on the broadest level of life and the interrelationship between organisms, living organisms, and their ecology draws heavily on the branches of science such as geology, geography, meteorology, pathology, chemistry, and physics. There are other disciplines of ecology, and one of the disciplines of ecology is behavioral ecology, which deals with the study of the ecological and evolutional basis for animal behavior and the rules of this behavior in enabling the animals to adapt to their ecological natures. So, there are certain organisms that possess certain behaviors, or and these behaviors enables them to survive in their environment. Some of the behaviors can be um, mimicking. That is, if you want to study how, let's say, butterflies are able to mimic certain, let's say, tasteful butterflies are able to mimic distasteful butterfly. It might be an evolutionary a trend, that is, it's an acquired behavior over a long period of time, and this is probably to enable the organisms to survive, that is preventing them from being eaten by predators. And if we are looking at ecology at the population level, then we are doing what we call horticology or population ecology. Population ecology deals with the dynamics of populations within species and the interactions of these populations with the environment. So if you're looking at the ecology of humans, you are looking at the dynamics in the population of humans and how humans are able to interact with the environment or the environmental factors. So another discipline is community ecology, that is interaction between different species in the ecological setup that forms the community, and that becomes community ecology. You can also do the landscape, the interaction between discrete elements of a landscape. And we're looking at ecosystem ecology, which deals with the flow of energy and matter through the ecosystem. This is basically about the feeding relationship between organisms. Then we can also look at global ecology, which looks at the ecological questions at the global level and often asking macro ecological questions. Thank you very much. We'll meet at another time.